for that just amazing introduction of me. And when I got the email from Davina over here about speaking to you guys, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I've never done a keynote before. But it doesn't matter. It's really about an artist sharing her story and talking about this very important, relevant, always relevant topic of diversity. So I'm not much of a speech maker. I'm more of a storyteller, i.e. the whole playwright thing. So I want to kick off by telling you guys a story. It was August 2005, and I had just graduated from the American Theater Repertory Institute as an actor. I had two pieces of paper in my hand. I had my MFA paper, and in the other, I had a statement from Shitty Bank that said that I owed them $80,000, actually $83,392.93 for my education. I had to call my daddy. I picked up the phone. It weighed heavy in my hand. But this actually wasn't a phone call about getting some money. I looked at my last ATM statement that came, or my last ATM slip that came out of the ATM withdrawal, and it read that I had 23 cents in my bank account. I needed money, but this phone call was not about money. It was to share an epiphany. He picked up the phone, my daddy LaSalle, and I said to him, Daddy, I think I want to be a playwright. He replies to me, now why in the hell you want to go do some shit like that? I don't know, Daddy. I don't know. I think this is something that I should be doing. I have this calling. Now, do folks that do this playwright, what you call it? Is playwright? Yes, it's playwright. Do they make money at this? Yeah, they make money. They make a lot of money. I lied. Well, I guess when you become this whatchamacallit, make sure you buy me a boat when you get rich. And they hung up the phone. I came from hard-working folk that tried so hard to give their youngest daughter everything she wanted. They moved from the rough side of town to this small suburb called Raleigh so that I could attend this magnet school so that I can get every opportunity that was possible for me. They had sacrificed so much for their American dream, which was the dream that their daughter could be anything and everything that she wanted to be. But they could not wrap their heads around why I wanted to be a whatchamacallit. It was very simple. It started 5 years before that 2005 phone call. It started at Columbia University, where I actually had caught the acting bug. And I was just so enraptured by this thing called theater. I had seen so many stories, been moved to tears, been moved to change my life by watching these things called plays, these people pretending to be something that they weren't, but really tapping into something that was authentic and real and true. Theater had changed my life, and I wanted to be a part of this continuum. So I was like, I'm gonna be an actor then. So I enrolled into the contemporary scene study by the Becky Guy. Becky Guy was an amazing teacher. She was so inspiring to so many of us. I remember that first day we walked in, she told us Look in the mirror. Are you fat? Are you young? Are you short? Answer those questions. Then you'll know your type. You see, type is very important in the acting world. You got to know how other people perceive you as in order to step into roles. So I was excited. I ran back to Fernald Hall looking at the mirror. Who is she? Well, I was short. I was a little chunky. I was black. I was young, but I was black. In that moment, I knew that I may have a struggle here. I am a black ingenue, but I am black. Are there roles for me? I didn't even know. I didn't even know then. That next Thursday, I came back to class, and that was when the wonderful Becky Guy told us that we should connect with a scene partner, and I ended up connecting with this young woman named Kelly McCreary, who was just another young black woman just like me. We connected. It was absolutely amazing, and that's when we got the new next assignment for the next week. You gotta go to the library. You gotta find a play that has a scene for two young black women just like yourselves. Whoa! We gonna do this. Me and Kelly was like, we gonna do this, we gonna do this. We got to the Columbia University Library, and things got a little rough and hard. I mean, in most libraries, the drama shelf is a little bit on the slim side, let's be honest. But it was a little too slim for us. We pulled down a Raisin in the Sun. We were like, okay, we can do this. There has to be a scene for two young black women here. But, we were like, you might be good as Benitha, but I don't think I'm going to be good as Mama, so let's move on to something else. We pulled down The Crucible. We were like, oh yeah, no, we can't share the part of Teachable. Oh, okay, we got to move on for that one. And then we ended up pulling down some August Wilson plays. August Wilson was interesting because we were looking for a scene for two young black women, two 19-year-old women. And the thing about August Wilson is that the women tend to be older, and they tend to be surrounded by a bunch of men. So we returned back to class, and we were like, Becky, we can't find no place for us. Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to succeed in this assignment that you have given us? Becky was like, man, there has to be something for you guys. There has to be something that you can do. And Becky, who had taught that class for 15 years, stood there, and she thought. 10 seconds went by, 20 seconds went by, 45 seconds went by, 55 seconds went by, and Becky Guy could not think of one play that had a scene for two young black women. In that moment, I heard a voice. It came in, riding in on the wind of my heart. It said to me, you're going to have to write those plays then. It was a huge crystallization moment for me. I never thought that I was going to be transformed by something that seemed so small to other people, but was so big to me. You see, I wanted to see myself in the mirror that is American theater. And that was the moment my life completely changed. Now, the thing about changing moments is that you look back at them and you just ask yourself, what the hell was I thinking? I stand here today, and I look back at that young Katori Hall, and I am in awe of her. I am in awe of her gumption. I am in awe of her naivete. naivete. I am in awe of her bravery. I applaud her for wanting to add herself. And I don't want to cry. I won't cry. That Katori Hall had a lot of hope in her heart. She had this idea that if she reached for the stars, she was going to grasp them. So what if she tried and she fell in the treetops? It was better than rolling around in the ground with her regrets. She was going to make something of this wonderful world called the American theater. The only failure she could not stand was the fact that she would not try to write at all. She didn't know that she was entering an industry where 17% she did not know that she was entering an industry where women constituted only 17% of playwrights produced nationally. She did not know that as a black female artist that she was going to have to come up against some tough stuff. She was going to have to face some overt racism and sexism and some covert sexism and racism. She did not know that the road to success is filled with a lot of no, a lot of rejection. Now, okay, let's be real here. Not every playwright, we deal with rejection. There are closed doors, we lose contests, agents drop us. It's just, part of the game, right? But I feel as though the rejection that a black female playwright sometimes confronts is a very special rejection indeed. I'm gonna tell you another little story. So I had this play called Saturday Night, Sunday Morning. Saturday Night, Sunday Morning is this play set in Memphis, Tennessee at the end of World War II. It's set in a beauty shop / boarding house, and it surrounds these 7 black women, all young, all fabulous, all free, who are waiting for their men to come home. See, it's not a lot of testosterone in this play. These are women in waiting, but they are a wonderful mix of women nonetheless. So I remember my agent and I, we sent out this play to over 20 theaters, and we had 7 readings, and this was early 2009. So in early 2009, we get very, very interesting responses. We never got the response that the play was bad. No. That would have been a better response to have been given, because at least you can fix that. You can go in the corner and I can work on this play, I can work on this play. But the responses that we got from 7 theaters made us really think about where we were in the land of diversity in the American theater. I would like to share those responses, just 7 of them, just so that you can get a perspective on what I was dealing with in early 2009. Response from theater number 1. We don't know if we could find that many talented black actresses. Oh, it gets better. Theater number 2. We've already done an August Wilson piece this season. It gets better. Reason number 3. We don't know if our audience can relate. Reason number 4. We've already done a play about a black lesbian. There's a black lesbian in the play. Reason number 5. We've already done a play set in a barbershop. Barbershop, beauty shop, okay. Oh, my favorite. Reason number 6. Our February slot has been filled. And then, an interesting reason number 7. We've already done a black playwright this season who is not August Wilson. Sorry your ears got busted. Okay, let's be honest. This is 2009, right? Obama had just been elected. I had begun to believe the hype that me as this young black female playwright coming up, I had believed that we were on the road to diversity. I had seen so many theaters talking about, oh, we got this diversity initiative going on for our audiences. We have this diversity initiative going on in our casting. We have this diversity initiative going on in terms of administration. We are on the road to diversity. But these responses left my head reeling. For 5 theaters, the one this, and we got one that, and we've already done one this, it seemed as though one of something is enough to claim the mantle of diversity in their theater. One female playwright, one black playwright, one Latino playwright, one play done only with music, one play done with no words, one play done in half Mandarin, one play done in Spanglish. This was enough for us to appear diverse. But you see, there's something very interesting happening. One artist cannot stand for a whole entire experience. We are not a synecdoche speaking for a whole. We are individuals interwoven with our own experiences, our own trials and tribulations. We are individuals. You know, there's just so much diversity within being a black female person in America, and there's so many playwrights who I have encountered over the years, some who have been produced, some who have not been produced. To me, that diversity is Pia Wilson, Dominique Maruso, Rada Blank, Kelly Gerard, Jocelyn Billo, Issa Davis, Danai Guerrera, Camille Darby, Nicole Salter, Chisa Hutchinson, Christina Anderson. This is what diversity means to me. What ties us all together is that we are all young, black, female, yes, but we are very, very different. And it is shameful to think that any similarities in theme or form or perspective or skin tone begins to come across as unoriginal. It's so shameful. And what's very important is that sometimes, I'll be very blunt, I'll let you in on some secrets that, some secret talks that we've had behind closed doors. There's this thought that maybe we, as young black women, are only fighting for one slot. This creates this climate of scarcity and fear within the black theater community. And in fact, I feel as though sometimes a sense of community is replaced with a sense of competition. We sometimes feel as though you only want one of us, one playwright, one director, one actor for all the jobs. And I don't think that anyone wants this feeling to be real for people. In this land of scarcity, it seems as though one person's success is sometimes looked at as the community's failure, because we know that we are fighting over very small and very few crumbs from the table of joy. And this is something that can no longer happen anymore. It's funny. I find that my white colleagues don't have to deal with this. They are never told, we have already done a white playwright this season. They are never told, all the slots in the month except for February have been filled. They have never been told, Eugene O'Neill, Tennessee Williams, William Shakespeare, and David Mamet. We already did him, so we can't do you. When can we move beyond this one person, one thing, this idea of tokenism really parading as true diversity? When can we step into a mindset that allows us to think that there is diversity within diversity? Ooh, I see smiles. Girl, don't make me preach. that we face today in the American theater. And I'm sure we'll talk a whole lot about that over the weekend. So let's look at another theater's response. There are not enough black actresses. Okay, shut the front door on that one. For other playwrights of color, they probably deal with, oh, there are not enough Chinese actresses, there are not enough Indian actresses, there are not enough Native American actresses in the cities that we can do this particular play, or whatever. This is ludicrous, but I must say that the lie does have a level of truth. It has something to do with this concept of retention. You know, I started off as an actress, and I must say, I'm not really acting that much no more. A lot of us have given up. A lot of us have come to New York City with so much hope in our hearts, a lot of verve, a lot of life, a lot of nerve, and because we are lacking constant, consistent opportunities, we either move to LA or we have given up. In fact, that list of black female playwrights that I read to you earlier, half of them started off as actresses. They came from a place of wanting to create opportunities, not only for themselves, but for their community, because they saw a lacking, they saw a need, and instead of complaining, they stepped up and filled in, because they heard the call. I ask this question in terms of retention. How do we keep these actresses from leaving this amazing profession? Because we need them. We need them to grow the American theater. We need them because we are nothing without them. To me, the answer is very, 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 very clear. You know, I think we have to concentrate on cultivating work that goes to the root of what cultural specificity is, because unfortunately, non-traditional casting is weirdly going out of style. I've been checking the casting breakdowns lately, and it's really hard out there for an Indian actress, let me tell you, right? But of course, this idea of retention in the field, it spills over beyond the casting offices. This extends into the administrative offices. It extends to the board, as we were talking about earlier. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into, an office talking to an artistic director, and nobody in marketing, sales, public outreach looks like me. Nobody. Now, of course, there are people who are doing their thing, but I'm just talking about the majority of the experience, particularly from my own perspective. How do we keep people of color, particularly in all areas across the board in terms of our field of the theater? How do we keep audience of color interested in a theater long after the February slot has passed? How do we keep and develop audiences so playwrights don't have to hear the final words of that final theater? Our audience won't relate to that experience. So let's talk about that one a little bit. Now, I find this one to be the most troubling, It reveals that we are not giving our audiences enough credit. Now, let me tell you something. It's true. It's true that there are folks who are going to walk out on your play. There are folks who are going to hem and haw, and they are going to go to the box office, and they are going to demand their money back. I don't know what them people up there saying. Are they speaking English? That happened at one of my plays. And I have to tell you something, American theater. You just got to let them people go. Whatever they get in the 5 minutes or the 10 minutes or the 20 minutes that they are in that seat, that's enough. That's enough for the work for them. But you have to keep in mind that we are in the business of transporting people to other unique, beautiful, amazing worlds that they would never, ever have had the blessing, the privilege, and the opportunity to be in the same space of. This is why we do what we do. This is why we write. This is why we create theater, because we are here to create the links and the bridges between communities. We are here for people to see that each other are human beings. We are here because we believe in humanity. We believe in the spirit. We believe in the power of story to change our hearts, our lives, our world. I have seen a Jewish woman from the Upper East Side empathize with a story, with a character who was a drug dealer living in a housing project in Memphis, Tennessee. She saw in him herself. In that space, in that beautiful space of theater, there was a mirror that existed between the floodlights and the fourth wall, where she saw a different version of herself. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that what we're here for? Isn't that what makes theater so amazing? That's what makes me so freaking passionate and excited to be in this whatchamacallit industry. I am proud to be this whatchamacallit because I feel as though it is a true, true calling to change the world. Last year, I received a phone call from Charles Isherwood. Lord have mercy. Dear Charles Isherwood, he's very interesting. But anyway, that's another speech. Tell that one. I actually made him laugh. Can you believe it? Anyway, Charles Isherwood had a very interesting question for me. He said, do you think theater, specifically Broadway, is changing? Do you feel, don't you feel, intention all over that, don't you feel that it's becoming better, that Broadway is embracing you and these two other Black female playwrights? So last year was a wonderful year for Broadway, right? We had the wonderful Lydia Diamond over there. We had Suzanne Laurie Parks, and then you had, and then you had me taking over Broadway. Oh my goodness, that had never happened before. People didn't know what to do with that, did they, Lydia? Well, it was an amazing moment. I sat there and for a moment, I couldn't even really answer his question. It was just a moment of pause for me, because I think previously, it had almost been a decade that a Black woman had come to Broadway with a new work. And I was just like, wow, yeah, things are changing. Things are changing. I started thinking in my head, but then I started looking at all the young women, all the young men, whether they were Indian or Native American or whatever, all these writers of color, this community of color that was struggling. And I had to answer to him, I just can't celebrate right now. I gotta see what next season looked like. And then I'll get back to you, Charles. But now I'm looking at this season, that was the next season. I understand why I was a little hesitant. Though I cheer for my girl Teresa Rebeck, you know, I do feel as though, unfortunately, this idea of cultural diversity has once again taken the back seat on the Great White Way, per usual. It's unfortunate, but many of our regional theaters look to Broadway to define what their next seasons are going to be. So I look at the season and then I kind of think out, like, is it going to be colorful again? Man, I hope so. I have a hope that things are going to change because they have to. Just the other night, our newly re-elected president said, he said, we are the most diverse nation in the world. We are a nation where there are more babies of color being born than white babies. We live in a nation where in 2042, there's going to be a minority-majority America. We live in an America where the word minority actually might be obsolete. Yay, I hate that word. But then we also live in America where our American theater might be obsolete. If we do not look and cultivate the stories of the youth, the story of our immigrants, the stories of our women, the stories of our world. But the thing is, I believe that we will get better. There are so many writers out there who have felt the call like me that day in 2000, who want to write from the margins, who want to represent themselves, who want to put their stories, the world's stories, our stories on the front stages of American theater. Let them, embrace them, celebrate them, cultivate them, because we are America. We are theater. Thank you.
If you have a question, please raise your hand and I'll follow you with the mic. Yeah, Michael.
Hi, Katori. Thank you so much. If you were to give advice to the people who are in this room, and I look at myself as a young white person who will become one of those old white men running institutions, and I am really curious about what I can do. Sort of what can I do in my institution today? What can I do in 5 years and 10 years? If we were all to take one small step, if you could give us advice, what one small step based on all of your experiences, and I know no institution, we're not all the same institutions, we have different challenges, but if there was one thing you would have us think about, or that one small step we could do, what would that be?
First I just have to, Michael Robertson comes from the LARC, which has been such an amazing family for me. And I always say that I'm a LARC baby. I really wouldn't be here today without all of their amazing support and love. And so I love you guys. So in terms of that question, I just really feel as though you have to know that you don't know everything, and just know that you should probably ask. Like, conversations about diversity are very, very hard because there has to be a little finger pointing, because people have to know that they're actually not doing the right thing. And I think the first step is just being open to hearing criticism, and open to really deconstructing, what has particularly gone wrong in your particular organization, so that you can move forward into a future where it is more inclusive, that goes beyond, performing diversity.
I just want to know when you're going to call Charles Isherwood back. That's my mistake.
Never. You know what? I should call him. He's been nice to me, sort of. or, you know. And no, they never do. Unless you hound them, but then, you know, they're like, oh, we moved it to next year. You know. So
That's great, thank you. I'm Andrea Louie from the Asian American Arts Alliance, and I really want to know, what does your daddy say now?
he's like, thank God she became that whatchamacallit. He is a very proud father, but for a very, very long time, he just did not get the whole playwriting thing. It was, you know, growing up in the South, that's just not something you grow up around. You know, they thought I was probably going to be a doctor or a lawyer because I watched the Cosby Show all the time. You know, they're like, shit, that's what she gonna do, but, you know, that didn't happen. But he's very, very proud. You know, he has his picture with Samuel L. Jackson on the wall. It's crazy. He's good now. He ain't got the vote. Katori didn't make all that money. Oh, no, she didn't. Gotta go to TV. No. Any other questions?
Hey, Katori. We were just in the Young Leaders of Color meeting just before this, talking about just these same questions, talking about tokenism, how do we move beyond it, what's next? And I know that it's always the most difficult to hear these things. The greatest challenge is right before the greatest breakthrough, and that's how you know that you're learning something, right? So this is what I experienced earlier today. And the question that came up was, for me anyways, was what are we driving towards? What is the end game, to quote Al Hartley? And what do you envision as the ideal situation, the ideal outcome?
That's a huge question.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if I can answer that, honey. I can try. Wow. This whole idea of the promised land of theater, right?
We can envision it, we can do it.
Very true. Very true. I think for me, in my talk, I focus mostly on this idea of racial diversity, but it goes beyond that, right? It goes to gender. It goes to thinking about diverse forms. It goes to thinking about a diverse way of critiquing things, a diverse perspective. We have to go from the rooter to the tutor, as my big mama would say, when it comes to really rethinking diversity. Because I think oftentimes we focus too much on the idea of like, oh, we have our black woman, and we have our Latino man, and we have, a gay person, yay! It's like, no, let's be almost creative. And like I said earlier, what is diversity within diversity? It's coming up with a more nuanced definition of diversity. And so what that looks like, whoa, it's like the Matrix, man. It's complicated. It's this place where really, truly every voice could possibly